Live on YouTube from my phone. It is a sunny day here in California, and I thought I would start a little show called Soaking in the Sun, solar show. And really it's just me going through, I have a list of questions that people have asked all about solar, and I wanted to provide some more value and answer specific questions on this show. So one of the biggest questions that gets asked all the time across the internet is whether or not solar panels are worth it. And I have made a video about that, and it's maybe a couple years old, but it's still well worth going back and watching it. I'll put a link to that video after this live is over. But if you have any questions, I'm only coming live on YouTube. I'm not streaming to other platforms. I'm just on YouTube. But if you have any questions about solar, how it works, you know, like how does it save you money? Do we need a battery? How does net metering? Any of those questions, feel free to put them in the question or the comments section of the video, and I will do my best to answer your questions live. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. I just hit an exciting little milestone of reaching 2,000 subscribers. Eddie, yeah, this is, let me show you my solar system. It's really exciting. They're a little dirty, but this is, I have one solar system here. We used to have a dog and it ran through the screen. And then I have an older solar system. Let me see. Right here. So this was our very first solar system that we had installed about 6 years ago. And then we ended up getting an EV. And so we have, you know, our solar system here that helps power our EV. I have an EV charger connected to my, my inverter. I have, sorry, an EV charger. And then down there, don't mind our little, this is like our stuff that we want to get rid of. But down there is my my backup battery. I don't want to move too far away from the router, the Wi-Fi router. But yeah, I just thought, you know what? Let's have conversations about solar in the sun in my backyard. So it's a beautiful day. A little bit windy here in California, Northern California. But what I wanted to answer, or at least talk about, because it's a very well searched, you know, a lot of search volume on whether or not solar panels are worth it. You have to stop and think. This is just for anybody. And there goes my crazy hair. Solar panels, in my opinion, become worth it when the cost of your energy supersedes the cost per kilowatt hour for your solar energy. And what I mean by that is that depending on how you pay for your solar, there's various ways you can pay for it. You can pay for it by cash. You could go to your local credit union and get a loan. You can lease the system. My thoughts on leasing, though, is that if you can ask for a 0% escalator. That's my opinion, and anyone that I would help get a lease, I would put them in a 0% escalator and put them in a reasonably affordable rate per kilowatt hour, and then it's fixed for them. There are so many benefits for leasing, but then there's also, you know, there's pros and cons to everything. So if you have questions about leasing, you're on fixed income, or you're just getting tapped out because of the economy and how expensive everything is with inflation, a fixed bill, to me, in my opinion, is far greater and better than a fluctuating, rising energy bill. So utility costs are rising across the nation. And so when you start thinking about that, and I hear the argument all the time, or I hear this objection all the time. Well, I don't know how long I'm going to live in this house. In fact, I just emailed an existing homeowner, client of mine that is selling their house. I helped them get solar and a battery 3 years ago. They're selling their house, and this is going to add value to their home. And I will say this to everybody else who might sell their home down the road, especially if you're in California or you're in an area where the cost of living or the home prices hold their value in a recession or in a dip or a financial crisis, which, you know, the Bay Area did, Seattle did, I think Florida has maintained, New York, obviously. When that happens, and the cost of energy is expensive, you can certainly build the case that solar panels are worth it and will save you money while you're living in the home, and also, as considerate as you are being, will save the next homeowner that buys your home from you on their energy costs. So, you know, how long should you live in a house for it to make sense? I think as long as you are saving on what you used to be paying to the utility company and it's providing the energy you need for your home, I think solar panels are totally worth it. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have solar and you're watching because you just want to watch and hear what I have to say about other things solar related, or if you're thinking of it, what is that, you know, you kind of got to ask yourself, what is that break even point, or what is that that point at which you're hedging yourself and your household from future rate increases? Because there is a tipping point, you know, there is that, gosh, would you rather, you know, buy your energy with your solar energy at a levelized cost per kilowatt hour, say it's, you know, 25 cents. And that's for solar and battery if you're paying cash or if you're leasing or something like that. Is it worth it? Do you want to lock that in for the next 20, 25 years or so? Or maybe you pay cash and you pay it all at once and then you get your tax credit and your levelized cost per kilowatt hour is even greater than that. Is it worth it? Like, is it cash flow? It becomes a cash flow situation at that point in time. And it's all kind of invisible. You know, like I own Bitcoin. And it's weird because it fluctuates up and then it fluctuates down. But at any point in time, I can pull out money I can, you know, say I want $500 from Bitcoin and I can sell off my Bitcoin. And at that point in time, I'm locking in what, you know, how much I have. But I'm profitable because I bought Bitcoin when it was 17,000, you know, so it's at 62,000, I think, right now. So it's like whatever it is at, I hedged it in other words. Like I'm so far away from what I bought it at that anything I'm doing is profitable. And you don't realize that until you're in the moment or in the situation. And that's the same thing when the people that got solar 3 years ago, when we got solar 6 years ago, we were paying, you know, 18 cents a kilowatt hour. It is 45 cents a kilowatt hour now. But we don't feel the pain of what everyone else is paying because we have been paying for our solar system through a solar loan payment for all this time. But it's a fixed amount. You know, it's a fixed amount and we don't feel those rate increases. You know, I remember talking to people who had, you know, electricity payments that were like $100 a month. I can guarantee you they're $200 a month. That might not be a much, but for the people who had $300 electricity bills, they now have $600 electricity bills simply because their rates have moved up so much and they're not really coming back down. So if you live in a state where it's sunny, like the state of California, Colorado, believe it or not, has more sunny days, more sunshine available to them for solar production than California. So if you live in a state like Florida, let's talk about Florida for a second. Floridians, you guys use a lot of energy because you have air conditioning 24/7. So you have these massive, you know, utility consumption, but your rates are still fairly reasonable. There's going to be a time where it might make sense to go renewable energy and lock in that rate so that you don't have to worry about rates rising. I think the last I checked, they're around 17 cents a kilowatt hour. So you guys are where we were at 6 years ago, which is crazy. And no one in their right mind thought that we'd ever see these rates that we're seeing now. Even Hawaii's electricity rates are less than ours. So that's wild. And they get sunshine all the time. If you live in places like Texas, you know, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, I'm talking with a friend in Louisiana. They're going to be putting up 4 buildings. They want solar for their buildings. Makes sense. You know, they have the roof space. They're going to have, they're going to be increasing their consumption by a lot. So it makes sense for them to look at solar and see if it financially is feasible, which it will be. And here's another thing. If you're watching and you own commercial property, whether it's a commercial building or multifamily residential multifamily real estate, here's a little thing that I don't really talk about, but I can help you get tax deductions on energy efficiency. So if that's you, reach out to me, contact me, because I can help you with that, and it'll help offset your tax liability with energy efficiency upgrades. Can't do that necessarily on homes, but I can with commercial property. So, but all that to be said, solar panels are totally worth it, especially when your cost per kilowatt hour is 15 cents or above, I would say. If it's 15 to 16, 17 cents, you're going to probably have a bill swap. It's probably not going to, you're not going to see the massive savings up front. You're going to see them on the back end after, if you qualify for the tax credit, after you recoup that tax credit, pay down your loan or pay yourself back. And then you just pay attention to what your neighbors are paying and they don't have the solar. You'll save on your energy costs. If you live outside of California and you have net metering, like we used to have here in California, I would urge you to look into it, because you don't need backup power. You don't need storage like all the Californians do right now under NEM 3.0. Everyone in California that goes solar, they need the solar panels, and they need the batteries. And I know that this might seem silly to say this, but I want to say this because I see this come up in like Reddit forums, and I see it come up in various Facebook groups and things like that. But backup batteries don't generate power. They just store it. And so your solar system, your solar panels, they're generating the power. And it's going to generate a lot of power depending on, you know, we have quite a few solar panels on our house, but it generates plenty of energy for our home. We have a backup battery in case there's a power outage. That is total peace of mind. We can use the battery as a self-consumption battery, but you need to be able to store the energy somewhere so that you can use that stored power after the sun sets. Otherwise, you're going to be buying it from the utility company. And this is in states that don't have net metering. Not all states have net metering. I was looking into the net metering laws for Louisiana for my friends' commercial warehouses that they're going to be constructing. They don't have they do have some net metering. They have net billing. So every utility is a little bit different, but the buyback is, you know, is not as good. Even California is better right now. That avoided cost is a lot better in California than it is in Louisiana. But if you live in a state where you don't need batteries right now, then you should get solar and you should get locked into their net metering program so that you're not faced with what's happening here in California. Like, you know, someone posted in the Facebook group that I belong to of, are you having conversations with homeowners that have true ups? And my answer is, yeah, I am having conversations with some of you that have true ups, and you're asking the question of whether or not you can add more solar panels. Well, you can't add more than a kilowatt or 10% of the existing system size. There's to remain in NEM 2.0. And for most homeowners, you're not going to be able to add to that. So then you have to consider whether or not you knock yourself out of NEM 2.0, add the solar, and get the battery or batteries to make the solar panels worth it. Is the true up more than Like, is the true up going to be more and more every single year for the next 20 years, let's say, or 10 years? Is it worth paying that versus going ahead and knocking yourself out of net metering 2.0 and going to net metering 3.0? That's a question that needs to be asked and analyzed financially. So, but this is what I'd say to all the people who have solar, who are getting true ups. Remember that Bitcoin, like I was talking about Bitcoin, and I got into Bitcoin at 17,000 and now it's at 62,000. That no matter where you enter in, you are kind of locking in. It's kind of like a scaling in or scaling out, or yeah, that the average cost. So let's say you locked in solar for 18 cents a kilowatt hour. A lot of people did. And 60% of your energy costs are covered by that solar system at 18 cents a kilowatt hour. And whatever's not is whatever the retail rates are. That's usually how it works. You're still saving money than if you didn't have solar, no matter what. So it's the average cost, you know, you're gonna average it out and you're still saving money. So do I think solar panels are worth it? I do. I think solar panels are worth it. Are there going to be better installers than others? Yes. Is it important to make sure they're going to be around? Yes, it's really important. I was having a conversation with a homeowner that's he was texting me during this live stream, but I talked to him today. He's been waiting for the utility company, PG&E, to upgrade their main service panel. He's been waiting. We started our conversations 2 years ago. And, well, no, 2 years in August, so not quite 2 years. But he's finally gotten the approval to have his underground area trenched for his main panel upgrade. He's still locked into NEM 2.0. Everything's all good and everything, but it's a process and it takes some time, especially if you do need electrical upgrades. But over the last year and a half, he has been seeing the rates increase. And once that solar is turned on for him, he's going to have a huge relief from what he's paying the utility company. And anyways, he, you know, the whole point for him was he asked me about, you know, how has things changed here in California and with the net metering and this and that. And I was saying to him, I just want to make sure that we're using the right installers for your system. They're all going to have great equipment, guys. The equipment's all going to be great. The batteries, some of the installers might have limitations of what batteries they can and cannot install. They might have different batteries in that they're self-consumption batteries versus the full backup power batteries and whatnot. And I was explaining to him that a lot of solar companies have gone out of business. And it's the truth. Like, some have gone out of business. And I'm going to do my very best to make sure to use installers that I know are going to be around, that are financially stable and will be there to service your system if you know you need help down the road. That does come up. Most of the maintenance, you don't really have to worry too much about it. Like, we need to wash our solar panels. It's been very windy, as you can tell. There's a lot of dust in the air and everything, and it's been a while since it's rained, but we do need to clean our panels. But that will help with output and production quite a bit. Not quite a bit, I don't want to say that. It does affect production. So you do want to make sure you maintain them so that you know, that question of, are solar panels worth it, that you still find that value in the production from the sun on the solar panels into your home. So those living outside of California, get solar and a battery. Or sorry, get solar. You don't need the batteries quite yet. If you live in California, you do need solar, and we need the right amount of storage. We need the right amount of solar, and we need the right amount of storage for your home. And you do not need to worry about the next homeowner. Like, that comes up a lot. This is so nice of you, and I like to be a nice person too, but you need to do what's best for your home right now. So if you ever do sell your house and that solar system is not right for them, they're gonna have to, we'll figure it out after a year of living in that home. But remember, they have, what's better? 0% of the energy costs being covered by solar, meaning you're totally dependent on the energy company, or even if it's 30%, 60%, 80% is covered by solar and it's locked in at a levelized cost per kilowatt hour. That's fixed. That's still better than the utility company. So I hope this has answered that question. Are solar panels worth it? I think yes. It all comes down to your home, your energy usage, the equipment that you purchase, and how you pay for it, whether it's through cash, a loan, a lease, or when you go out and get your private lending so you don't have to take out a solar loan. We will analyze it, we'll put together the solar proposal, and you will see your levelized cost per kilowatt hour over the next 25 years based on existing data that we have. I mean, that's all we can work off of. So I hope that you guys found this video useful. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it out to other people who might be thinking about solar. Consider subscribing if you aren't yet subscribed. And then if you're interested in a solar, excuse me, a solar appointment with me, where we can meet on Zoom or on the phone, in the description of my video, you can go to my website, which is JaimeGreeneTheSolarQueen.com, and you can fill out a couple of forms there, and we can meet to talk about helping you make that transition to solar power and really, truly harness the energy from the sun. And it is, you're paying for equipment, and the energy is free that's made from the solar system. So, and yes, you can get it for $0 out of pocket. You know, you don't have to come out of money. Let me rephrase that. You don't have to, if you finance it or take out a lease, there's zero upfront cost to you. So that is true. There is no free solar, just so you know. There's no government programs to help you. There are for like commercial solar, there are REAP grants and things like that if you live in a rural area. There is also the tax credit, so, but not everyone qualifies for that. So Edward says, hi Jamie, good to see you. Our solar is doing fine. Hope all is good. Edward, I'm so happy to hear that. Edward, I found me on YouTube, and I helped him get solar. There were a couple of bumps in the road, but we got it. It's turned on, and he's reaping the benefits of his solar panels. So I'm so happy to hear that, Edward. Okay, it's time to go pick up my kids. Let me know if you like this content. I have lots of questions that I can answer that everyone asks about, and so I want to just make this a habit of coming on and providing value for you guys. So let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and make sure to put any questions you have in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.